Chemistry Common Assessment Semester 1. Question 1. A student took notes during or by drawing diagrams during science class. Which of these sets of labels will correctly identify the diagrams in the pictures above? A. Picture 1 is to animal cell, as picture 2 is to plant cell. B. Picture 1 is to mixture, as picture 2 is to solution. C. Picture 1 is to compound, as picture 2 is to element. D. Picture 1 is to atom, as picture 2 is to molecule. Question 2. Rust is a compound with the formulas Fe2O3. Which elements combine to form rust? Iron and water, iron and oxygen, iron and air, iron and acid. Question 3. The chemical formula for methane is CH4, and a model of its structure is shown. The model of methane represents an isotope, ion, atom, molecule. Question 4. Compound potassium sulfate K2SO4 is composed of 2 atoms of potassium, 1 atom of sulfur, and 4 atoms of oxygen, 2 atoms of potassium, 4 atoms of sulfur, and 4 atoms of oxygen, 2 molecules of potassium and 1 molecule of sulfate, 1 molecule of potassium and 2 molecules of sulfate. Question 5. Structural differences between different chemicals can be represented in models of the particles. Which drawing best represents a compound? A, B, C, or D? Question 6. Some power plants produce energy by burning coal. In these power plants, the heating from the burning coal is used to boil water. Which statement best describes the changes that occur when burning coal and boiling water? Burning coal and boiling water are both physical changes. Burning coal and boiling water are both chemical changes. Burning coal is a chemical change and boiling water is a physical change. Burning coal is a physical change and boiling water is a chemical change. Question 7. Which event is an example of a chemical change? Fog rising off a river, wood burning in a fireplace, ice cream melting in the sunshine, grinding peppercorn into pepper flakes. Question 8. When iron combines with oxygen in a moist environment, rust forms because of a chemical reaction, physical reaction, change in density, change in temperature. Question 9. The illustration shows a number of changes occurring. Which is a chemical change? The melting of wax, the burning wick of a candle, the sugar dissolving in the tea, the steam coming from the tea. Question 10. Mixing baking soda and vinegar makes the temperature of the solution decrease and release carbon dioxide. Which conclusion about this investigation is not valid? Mixing the chemicals caused them to absorb heat. A chemical reaction took place. New elements were formed. The procedure caused a gas to be formed. Question 14. Energy is absorbed and released through endothermic and exothermic processes. Which is an example of an exothermic process? Ice melting, ice sublimating, water evaporating, water freezing. Question 15. The physical state of a substance depends on the arrangement of atoms or molecules within it. The diagram shows the arrangement of atoms of the same substance at 2 different times. At time 1, the atoms are close together. At time 2, the atoms are moving apart. Which statement best describes the change occurring from time 1 to time 2? A gas becoming a solid, a gas becoming a liquid becoming a liquid becoming a solid. Question 16. Sodium sulfite and barium chloride react with each other to form sodium chloride and barium sulfite as shown. Which statement most accurately describes the mass of the reactants compared to the mass of the products? The mass of the reactants is the same as the mass of the products. The products have a greater mass because matter was created during the reaction. The reactants have a greater mass because some of the mass was converted to heat. The reactants have a greater mass because some of the matter was destroyed by the reaction. Question 17. When a mixture of oxygen and hydrogen is ignited in a test tube, the reaction shown occurs. Hydrogen plus oxygen yields water plus energy. What happens to the total mass of the contents of the test tube? The total mass increases, the total mass decreases, the total mass remains the same, part of the mass is changed to heat energy. Question 18. The diagram represents the chemical reaction that occurs when propane combusts. Propane plus oxygen gas yields carbon dioxide plus water plus heat and light. In the reaction, for every molecule of propane, how many molecules of oxygen are used? 1, 3, 4, or 5? Question 19. What happens to a wooden log when it's burned? It's completely destroyed. It's completely changed into heat energy. It changes into other types of matter and energy. It physically changes into the gaseous state phase. 20. Which of the following is correctly written chemical equation that demonstrates the conservation of mass? I'll let you take a look at A, B, C, or D. One advantage of recycling synthetic polymers is that recycled polymers are stronger. Less coal and oil will be used in producing synthetic polymers. Recycled polymers degrade more easily. The new polymers resemble fiberglass. 22. Which of the diagrams represent models of polymers? AED, BCD, AEF, BDF. 23. How many different models of monomers are shown in the diagram, and which ones are they? 3, BCD, 3, AEF, 2, A and F, 1, E.